Good morning. It's Sunday, and Doc and I are here in our Sunday go-to-meeting clothes. He said mine was a little flashy, but it's Sunday, and according to my theory of what would make everybody happy on Sunday is they all get to preach. So we're here for our sermon this morning.
You might find a little blasphemy here, folks, but don't worry about it, because you'll grow out of it as I grow
blasphemy.
out of it.
This is my theory why the religious right
This is my Sunday go-to-meeting shirt picked out by her. I got the hat. I like this hat. This is really Sunday. Yeah.
Well,
can you see
how
me
could you
going
get
to
any more,
church with a hat like this on?
Well, yeah, because it's white.
Yeah, but the only reason they'll be able to get away with it is because I had my horse parked out in front.
Oh, I don't think that would get you. But it's my theory that the religious right is cantankerous and apt to get in a lot of political arguments because they're frustrated. It's the Sunday, the Sunday rituals that they have to go through that, you know, causes them to be, in my estimation, to be that combative. It's all those sermons they have to listen to. I grew up listening to these sermons, and I thought, surely, we don't have to listen to these just to get in heaven.
I did not know that you had to listen to the sermon to get into heaven. You know,
Well, of course you do. I mean, you're supposed to go to Sunday. I was told, you know, keep the Sabbath holy, and that meant go and listen to all these boring sermons. That's what you're supposed to do.
What your problem is you don't understand. My background is so different from yours.
Yeah.
I was baptized in a shirt and a tie and a suit. Baptized, a shirt and tie.
Does that mean you just got sprinkled?
No, that means I was born into a suit and a tie and a white shirt.
Well, you didn't get dipped in the water, did you? Oh, baptized.
No, they just touch on the head. So anyway, I've been in church ever since the day. In fact, I was in church before I was born.
Of course.
Because my mother and father went to church every Sunday. Did not miss it. He was high up in the church. He was an elder. And they prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. And
hey, you can stop now. We know. They prayed.
well, the problem
he hasn't got over it yet.
is the fact that they were married for 10 years, and then they get me. So their prayers were not answered the way they really wanted them to be. I guarantee you that. we're hoping for somebody intelligent, but no, we got him.
Now we know, if we just think about it a minute, why this idea came to pass of people thinking that you had to go to church and listen to these sermons. The prophets, the leaders had a lot to do with this. You know, because they wanted to expound, and they wanted to have a big audience, and they wanted to have them Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. And so that was where the idea came from, that you had to go listen to these sermons in order to get to heaven.
Bring something, you know. Whether it was
well, yes, that too. I mean, if you brought yourself to go to Sunday school, you'd naturally have to
bring a cow or a calf, or, you know, that's good for a whole month right there, you know.
Well, yeah, and
then we came up with money. You know, did you just bring money? I mean, you know,
I was still.
I'd rather have money.
Entertaining the idea, you know, that if after I left our church, that I needed to go and find a church in order to, you know, get me and my children into heaven, and so after I tried any number of times, and to my horror, I found out that other churches' sermons were even harder to get through because...
Is that why you go to churches to get to heaven?
Of course. I mean,
did not know that.
That was the whole idea. Who else? Why else would you go and suffer through all that? What other reason?
It's to keep the masses in line, okay?
well, the leaders, but
That's right.
the masses themselves were told that they would not be able to go to heaven if they didn't.
Here's another one.
They weren't in church every Sunday supporting.
Why would the person that is out there giving one of these? He has a flock of sheep. Right?
Sheep,
now, see,
yes. The sheep are not
he
in.
didn't have any. He didn't have any cattle. Didn't have any horses and pigs. And but the nice thing about sheep is that they're fairly docile and they just beg, and you can shear the crap out of them, shear them, and then when they can't shear anymore, then you can eat them.
Oh yeah, the sheep.
So that's why the
sheep.
People who go
and the shepherd would be up there saying,
"Yeah,
this is what you need to do."
That's right.
And it took me.
And we need more money. We need a building fund and start grabbing that wall.
Yeah, I've heard those
Put
stories.
your hand on the TV and send money in.
Yes, yes.
Now remember, this was your idea, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I remember those torturous days
Don't get me started on religion here.
I still thought that I would need to do this every Sunday in somewhere or another. I need to suffer. Finally, one day I thought, is this really going to get me into heaven? Coming here, sitting here, excruciatingly bored with what was happening. Well, why else would you go? Why in the world else if you didn't think that that's what you're supposed to do?
Well, I didn't ask my parents, and they never told me. It's just something you did, in the family that doesn't. Well, basically, I thought it was just a good excuse to get together and shoot the crap, and then after church, you might sit around and have some coffee and cake and stuff like that. That's basically what I thought it was for. I didn't know,
Oh, you didn't know that you were going for your soul
I did
salvation?
Have no idea, no. And besides that, as I was
I can't imagine how that escaped you.
I get these guys dressed in these capes, like Superman, or, like Batman cape, and the little funny hats. And they're out there chastising everybody in the so-called audience because they don't have enough money, they don't have enough parishioners, they don't have enough of this, they don't have enough of that. And all of you people out there are not doing the right thing, you're sinners and all this other stuff. And I thought to myself, I said, this guy's talking to the wrong people. We are sitting out here putting up with listening to you. You should be out there knocking on doors, beating on the bushes, and doing what the old guys used to do, go around and, come on over, come on down, come on over, come on down. No, the whole thing's somehow changed into let's open up those wallets and keep that money coming in. And then the funny thing about it was when we used to pass the plate around, that wasn't good enough. Then if you remember the church, they gave you little envelopes with numbers in.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I know.
So they could tell
seen those too.
At the end of the year or at the end of the month how much this guy is putting in and how much he's not putting in. And so you got ranked, like you were just...
Well, did women ever get to preach in the Lutheran church? Women,
Not yet.
Have you ever heard? Oh, not yet!
Well, Episcopalians, yeah, they're all right.
Not yet!
Oh, by the way, I hate to be the one to break it to you. I don't believe Catholics have any women priests yet, but I think that some of those nuns, it'd scare some money out of somebody.
Well, in Mormon church, I found out that women actually were a little more privileged than they were in other churches because they got to preach. Of course, there were some lady preachers who started churches themselves. Now, we never got that far, but on Sunday, sometimes women would be asked to preach. And I did find out that in Mormon church, nobody got paid for preaching.
Did you ever preach?
Everybody took turn. Well, I think so.
Did you ever preach?
Well, probably 10 minutes or so. And when I was in good standing, which I hardly ever was, I was considered
you weren't even
too
in good,
much of a doubter.
You weren't even in good sitting,
and,
right? They wouldn't even let you sit in the pew.
Asking tough questions.
You're gonna have to sit on the floor, lady, until you shape up.
Till I shape up. I was considered a bad influence, Strangers were advised not to talk to me, But this was, you know, sort of toward the end when
And you know what?
I started becoming
Still
very
today, people
rebellious.
tell me don't talk to her.
Don't talk to her. So anyway, if you look at this sermon that we're, and I've always wanted to preach, and so this is why I've got this, and you don't have to listen to it, you don't even have to pay money, but
It would be nice if people would send me a couple
you-
dollars just to
if,
cover the cost of the damn camera.
if you'll listen to us, well, I might consider listening to you. You know, if you give me your you know, a way to listen to your sermons, turnabout's fair play. That's what I always thought. I thought the problem is that there were a few, and oh my goodness, in other churches, they would only have one preacher. And I have actually been in churches where they preached for 2 hours. 2 hours!
Oh, come on.
They killed everybody. You know, they killed me.
Are you kidding me?
One time, I said,
The
if
church that I came
I
through,
live through this.
If the preacher goes past 20 minutes,
20 minutes! Boy, they really had
and the next time,
God heavens, our
they have
preachers weren't
they
even
have a
getting
meeting,
started.
they gently tell
20
the preacher,
minutes.
say, minister, you talked for about 22 minutes now. There's a 20-minute limit on that. I'd be well aware of that, you know, because we get real restless after 20 minutes.
Is that what he
The
said?
ushers get real surly, you know, because they don't like that. They're outside trying to smoke, and you're out there pushing your time limit on them, see?
Well, but anyway, I wanted to bring up the topic.
2 hours.
A topic that I have been reading about is a famous playwright, you know, David Mamet. Is that the way to pronounce his name? I never could pronounce that man's name.
Mamet?
Uh-huh.
Are we talking about the same guy?
Yes, the guy that wrote Untouchables, all those.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not talking about the same
Buffalo, what? Gary Ross.
guy. Oh, okay, now we're talking about the same
Yes.
guy. It's Mamet, that's what his name is.
And here he is, he's gone right wing. He's been listening to talk radio, he says. Michael Medved, I've listened to him. Glenn Beck, I've heard him a time or two. And, so the liberals are deploring this drop, this unfathomable change by this
Now let's look at
famous playwright. I'm a
psychological.
playwright, so I'm concerned.
I don't think that, I don't think she's quite in the same league with David, you know, but, you know what happens when we get older?
What?
If we get non-compass mentis, and then we begin to lose our brains and we begin to lose our mind.
Well, is that what happened to me? You see, I was a registered Democrat. Probably could be called a liberal.
Well, wait a minute. You're taking this the
And-
wrong way.
David Mamet has probably gone through some of the change that I have.
Yeah, but if you look at some of the stuff that he's written, you already know this poor guy is on the fringe.
I know what
He's
he's
on the
written.
fringe of sanity, and once you step across that line, sometimes you cannot
Well,
come back.
an
You
argument
just can't
could
come
be-
back.
For that he has gone insane, but
I liked a lot of his plays.
for myself, my own reasons for going toward the right is because I don't know if I should mention it in front of him. He doesn't like me to preach on that subject.
It's Sunday.
Could I say a few words on my subject?
You got a minute and a half, because then you can go back on your...
Well, what happened, I don't know what happened to the liberals. You know, they've usually been able to stay on the a reasonable side to me. You know, they calm down the religious right. They poke holes in, the idea that they are always getting that someone has got piped into the a divine power, and the liberals were always kind of, the skeptics that would say, oh, now wait a minute. Now, they're always, and I empathized with that viewpoint. The skeptic,
did you just coin a
the
word
doubter, the questioner.
You just coined a word.
Yes, and they always were the critics, that kind of punched holes in the religious right when they get themselves carried away into delusion, like the Mormon church that I was raised in.
Well, isn't that sort of
started off with polygamy? Well, good heavens, the critics, the liberals, the skeptics had a heyday. Can you imagine?
This is a Sunday
polygamy?
This is Sunday go.
What? How could you people possibly follow a prophet that would tell you polygamy? Polygamy was okay. Oh, what does that do to women's rights?
It's already over 80 degrees, and it's getting hotter in here.
And I went along. I just understood. I was a critic, but then they passed the law. The Supreme Court, which I suppose they looked on as a leftist Supreme Court, passed the law, legalized abortion. And guess what? The liberals you would have thought that came right straight from, it's okay now.
Well, if anybody...
The Supreme, they took the Supreme Court as the supreme power.
Yes.
They are letting us know.
Can I ask a question?
That killing
Can I ask a
is now okay, people.
Can I ask a question?
And the religious right were going like, what? Killing is now okay?
Can I ask a question?
Yes. Well, just a minute till I get through too many. And I thought to myself, too many liberals have been smoking dope, getting drunk, and getting their girlfriends pregnant. That's what's happened to their minds to start saying, yes, we need abortion. Yes, we need it legalized.
You want to put this
the
on
same
my channel?
people that ranted and raved about Cheney and Bush warmongers. They just want to start expensive wars. They don't not content with one war, they want two. But liberals, what about abortion? Isn't that killing? No, that's not killing. What do you mean? It is just all of a sudden it's like they were promoting women's rights, abortion rights, killing rights. Now, these were not skeptics anymore. They were believers. So they switched. They became the defenders. And here's the religious right, just barely getting themselves geared up to, what's the matter? Did you, I just wanted to make my point. A point has to be made in a sermon, or it's not even a sermon. For heaven's sake.
I want to make a point here, okay?
Okay, make it. What is it? See, I'm making the point, and he is protesting the point, I guess.
No.
Doesn't want to hear this.
You're playing your ace and I'm going to trump it.
Oh, how's that?
Because I got a deuce of trumps.
Ha! No, I don't think so, Mr. Liberal, Mr. Critic,
Yeah, but
Mr. Skeptic.
the Memorial Day is it's tomorrow, okay? So
Yes.
you have to...
Yes, and because of all the wars and all the soldiers killed, we always have to think about the soldiers who've been killed in war, which, of course, patriots,
Well, see, we could have...
right-wing people understand perfectly. But do liberals understand this? No, they're the peacemakers. Except for one issue.
I have a fork and I know how to use it, so don't start beating up on me because I got on my side.
Yep, the liberals outdid the Bush and Cheney have nothing on the liberals. Nothing. They outdid them when it came to legalized abortion. But do you think they'll admit it? Oh no, no, no. Would you admit that killing is killing no matter when?
For Bush or Cheney. The only thing I did was
of course you didn't.
I did
You
pray.
despise them.
I did
He
pray
despises Bush and
that
Cheney.
when Bush was president, that nobody kills him because God only knows what Cheney would be up to, and we already know what he's up to.
But of course, abortion. Here I hear this: the baby isn't even born. It's not even a person. That's it. That's it. You get it? That's it. That's why it's not killing. I mean, it takes blood. You know, it takes killing to kill it, but it's not killing. Don't you understand? Oh, those liberals.
Sunday go to meeting.
They certainly let me down. How could I believe in them anymore?
Sunday go to meeting service is over.
They were like using the same kind of logic. Like Bush said, we've got to go and bomb the Baghdad to smithereens so we can teach those people what's the right way to live. Oh yes, the liberals all saw the fallacy in that kind of thinking. But, see, he's just wandering around. He doesn't know what to say. He's turning out the lights.
The service is
Putting
over.
me to, the service is ended. Bye.